Hello everybody, Ben Austin here, your New Rules golf coach, and today we're going to talk about an uneven lie and how to properly chip this. So as you can see, this shot that I currently have, you can see that the ball is slightly above my feet and it's also uphill. It might be hard to see with the camera angle, but this shot here is uphill. The very first thing I need to do when I have an uphill shot is I need to get my shoulders to go with the slope. So as you can see, if I set up level, my shoulders are not the same angle as the slope. So I need to get my shoulders to match what the slope of the ground is doing. What this does is when I get my shoulders to match the ground, theoretically, this makes this shot flat. It makes it level to my shoulders. So the first thing I'm going to do, before I do anything, is get my shoulders to go with the slope. Second thing I'm going to do is, since this ball is uphill, is I'm going to move this ball slightly back in my stance. Now when I say slightly, this ball is going to be just slightly behind center, so just inside my right foot. It's not going to be behind my right foot. That's too far back. So I want to get this ball just inside my right foot, and I'm going to have my feet fairly close together. I'm not going to have a real wide stance. That's going to get me too low. So I'm going to have my feet just a little bit from each other. The ball is going to be slightly back in my stance, and I'm going to get my shoulders to match the slope. Now if I had this shot on the golf course, I'd say 8 out of 10 times, first thing I'd see somebody do is grab their lob wedge or their sand wedge and try to fly the ball all the way to the hole. Now in this shot, there's no need to do that. You can see how much green I have to work with. I have a lot of fringe, I have a lot of green. I don't need to fly the ball all the way to the hole. I have a lot of stuff working for me on this shot. So I'm going to show you what I would see a typical person do with their lob wedge. So you can see there, I sculled it, I bladed it, and it went all the way across the green. Way too big of a swing for that shot. What I would see a better player do is I'd see them grab their 9-iron or pitching wedge, and I'm going to get my shoulders to go with the slope, feet close together and ball slightly back. And what I would see a good player do is I would see them take a much shorter swing, trying to bump the ball up onto the green and let it roll like a putt. Now notice, the one key thing on this shot is do not get into the killer instinct and try to flip the ball up into the air, try to lift the ball. You know, when we try to lift the ball, as you saw in my chipping video, it does not end well. So even on this shot, we're still trying to get our hands forward and hit down. We're not trying to flip the ball up into the air. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to get my shoulders level with the ground, put my feet close together and the ball slightly back, and I'm going to take a much shorter swing and try to get the ball to roll to the pin and not fly it. Good. Now the odds of that shot being close are much higher than the person with the lob wedge trying to take a big swing and trying to fly all the way to that hole. If you have some green to work with, use it to your advantage. Get the ball to maybe hit just short of the green or just on the green and roll like a putt. Try this with a 9-iron, 8-iron, pitching wedge, and try to get away from that lob wedge and that sand wedge on this shot and stop trying to fly it to the hole, get it to roll more like a putt. If you do this, you will find that you'll get the ball much closer to the hole and give yourself a more reasonable putt versus a 30-footer, you might only have a 5 or 6 foot putt. Work on this, you'll see some improvement, and visit benaustingolf.com for more information, and have a great day.